Well, NFL Network needs more live programming this spring and summer now that Good Morning Football is not going to be a thing for a bit. Welcome everybody to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jared Air9, representing the 904 from the 602, and today we are talking about new programming coming to NFL Network as they announced today that they are partnering with the Arena Football League to televise some games during the 2024 season. The AFL is back. It has been revived with 16 teams, and NFL Network is going to show 30 regular season games. In a press release put out by the NFL today, it said today, the National Football League announced partnership with the Arena Football League. Beginning in April, NFL Network will televise over 30 AFL regular season games. We are excited to partner with the AFL to bring more live football to NFL Network. The energy surrounding live football games is unmatched, and we're thrilled to provide our fans such great action from this league throughout the spring. They're also doing something called Overtime OT7. They're doing the regular season and championship weekend. But I just want to focus for the purposes of this on arena football and what this means for NFL Network. I know a lot of people might be excited about this. 30 games coming to NFL Network, like this is good news. I am very, very skeptical. I hate to be Debbie Downer, but I'm going to be the realist in the room, and I'm going to be Debbie Downer here. For one, this is a very confusing partnership because there are a lot of times that conflict with the UFL season. The NFL is on very friendly terms with the UFL. It's how they get a lot of rule changes. They get some players from there. The NFL wants the UFL to survive. They want that because it's essentially a minor league feeder system. The UFL will survive based on TV with high ratings. A lot of the times for these AFL games are on Saturdays and Sundays that conflict directly with the UFL. And this could cut into the ratings. Let's say 1 million people want to watch football during the spring. Well, the average UFL game, that would get 1 million people. Well, maybe an AFL game gets 100,000. Obviously, AFL is not going to outdraw UFL on a linear network or on ESPN. But maybe AFL game gets 100,000, maybe even 80,000. Even if that's not a lot, that could cut into 5 to 10% of the audience that a UFL game gets. And that's pretty significant because you're losing a lot of money that way. But on top of that, it's a very confusing press release because I'm not really sure the NFL Network, I don't think they want to be associated with the AFL. I think they might just be doing this out of obligation to get some live programming and try to get some ratings boost now that Good Morning Football is not going to be a thing. Because not once did this press release mention that NFL Network used to show arena football. It didn't mention it once. NFL Network used to televise arena football back in the late 2000s, the early 2010s. They used to televise arena football. Remember Arena Bowl between the Jacksonville Sharks and the Arizona Rattlers? That game was on NFL Network. They showed a lot of games on NFL Network. I remember every Friday night when I was in middle school in 7th grade back in 2010, watching NFL Network to watch arena football and hoping the Jacksonville Sharks were on so I could watch Aaron Garcia and company play. There's no mention of that previous tie. You would think they bring that up in the press release, but they don't. They say nothing about the playoffs in this whatsoever, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. So the AFL has a TV deal for the regular season, but not the playoffs? That's a bit odd. It said over 30 AFL games, but they only listed 30? Over means you're showing more than 30. It means greater than, and they only listed 30. So how is that going to work? That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. You would think for the final few games it would show flex scheduling where NFL Network can choose the best game, but they mentioned nothing about that. But what's bizarre about this is the allocation. You would think with a move like this that every team gets shown at least once. But the allocation is just bizarre. You have teams like Orlando getting 7 games. They're playing 10 games in a season. They're getting 7 of them nationally televised on NFL Network. You got a lot of other teams with 7. I've got the whole breakdown here. You see some teams with 7, 6, 5. Then there's some teams that get nothing. The Rapid City Marshals, no games. If you want to root for Rapid City, you got none of their games on NFL Network, which makes no sense to me. Billings and Wichita, they're only on once, and that's very late in the season. Just very weird allocation. You wouldn't think market size makes a huge difference when it comes to arena football. When you're just starting a league, you wouldn't think that makes that much of a difference. People just want to watch arena football. But the fact that Rapid City is not even on there, it's just very confusing. But what's even more confusing is that I just don't have faith. I don't have faith in the Arena Football League. I really don't. I want to believe because more football is good and I love arena football. But you would think that this would be a big deal, right? You would think that this would be a monumental news for the AFL. Like, they got a TV contract on a major network. They got the deal that they had back in the 2010s. This is a big step for them in establishing legitimacy and establishing themselves as a true, viable spring football alternative for people. But if you go to the AFL's website, you can't find the release. You can't find the release whatsoever. You click under news, it's not there. Actually, the first thing that's there under news on this horrible website is a picture of the Washington Valor Huddle, a team that doesn't even exist anymore. How does that make any sense? So you scroll down past that picture of a defunct team. It'd be like if the NFL had a website and the first thing they showed was the date in triangles. You have to scroll all the way down to get anything that wasn't a triangles photo. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You go to the articles, and sure enough, the press release is not there. It's not there at all. Again, you think this is major news, but it's not there. And you might be wondering, okay, well, maybe it would show up on the schedule. Maybe you would click on the schedule for the AFL, and it would show the games that are on NFL Network, the games that are nationally televised. Where can you find the schedule? This is so bad. Look at this website. Is there a tab anywhere? Do you see any tab whatsoever that shows the schedule? I see about, I see news, I see teams, I see shop, I see partners, I see tickets, I see live. I don't see a schedule anywhere on here. Where is the schedule? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to Google this thing. Screw it. I'm not going to go through the website. I'm just going to Google it. So I typed in arena football schedule. Nothing pops up. This is what pops up when I type it in. I get the schedule for the Arizona Rattlers, since that's the local team around here since I'm in Phoenix. They're not in the AFL. They're in a completely different league. You click on arena football schedule. You get the GoIFL.com. That's the indoor football league, a completely different league. I get Arizona Rattlers Indoor Football League home schedule. And then I see on the fourth thing, Arena Football League home. I click on that. That's the old website. That's not even their actual website. So you click on Arena Football League schedule. It takes you to a website that they don't even use anymore. And this is what pops up. You get absolutely nothing on here. There is no place, not even their own website, that has the composite schedule. So what are we doing here? NFL Network has a bizarre allocation with the AFL. The AFL isn't even promoting this as a thing. You can't find the schedule anywhere. You can't find this press release anywhere. It's bizarre. It's just bizarre. This feels like NFL Network just needs something to fill their programming, and it's not something they actually want to do. Because if they did, this would be handled a lot better. Now, what this means for the NFL as a league, obviously it doesn't really mean a whole lot for the NFL, except for one big thing, and that is that last year, the schedule release was on Thursday, May 9th, and NFL Network is showing a game every single Thursday in the month of May, so don't expect the schedule to come out on a Thursday this year like it did last year, because the NFL, they have a primetime schedule release on NFL Network. They do this 3-hour extravaganza where they break down the schedule, break down all the matchups. They obviously cannot do that if they're showing arena football games that day. So expect the schedule to come on maybe on a Tuesday or a Wednesday in early May. They'll do it after the draft like they've done every year since 2020, which I really, really like, because it means they can schedule matchups in prime time and schedule matchups based on what players got drafted and how the board falls and how everything looks. Having said that, though, this is just a confusing partnership. I don't get why NFL Network is doing this. I don't get what Arena Football is doing. The times conflict with UFL, and this could kill the UFL or hurt the UFL pretty significantly in terms of the ratings. And on top of that, the press release mentioned no ties to the original AFL that they did. And on top of that, you have a confusing allocation. And on top of that, the AFL is not even promoting the fact that they're on NFL Network. So who knows what's happening here? All we know is that NFL Network is going to look very, very different this spring and summer. Good Morning Football going on hiatus after March 29th as they move to a studio in Los Angeles. They'll be gone for 4 months and looking to fill some programming, at least get some live programming in there. Obviously, it's not the same time, but get some live programming in there. The Arena Football League, but I don't even know if the AFL knows if they're on NFL Network. I honestly have no clue. But what are your thoughts on all of this? Do you think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill? Do you like this move, AFL and NFL Network? Do you not like the move? Do you have any fond memories of the AFL? And who are you rooting for this year if you are an Arena Football fan? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That's going to do it for this episode of JG9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out my main channel, Jaguar9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is Jaguar9 signing off. And as always, go Jags.